Welcome back to Dial Twang. I'm Dave. We've got another short one here. It's just a rhythm groove. We're getting a few of these now, so I'll probably have to number them and get them in a playlist for you. You can go through there and just check these out. They're just little kind of ideas and a little bit of some tips on some of this rhythm playing. Let's get a lot of requests for this on the channel. So what I'm doing today is it's kind of a back and forth routine. So you're practicing different skills. And it's kind of like you were mapping out different sections of a song in a rock arrangement where you might use a real muted section, and then an open. Okay, so the chords we're using here are F sharp. They're all major chords. I'm actually playing a seventh, just lifting my pinky off that bar chord. Right. Then up to A, same type of chord. If that bugs you, just make a regular bar chord, a full bar chord. And then E. Now you'll notice that when I make my E in this instance, and a lot of times, I'm not using my index finger, right? Now, that goes way back for me and is, rooted in my general laziness as a person. I guess I figured out a long time ago that, for better or for worse, that I could just save myself some work and just slide that thing down there and kind of have the same shape, But however you're fingering your chord, that's not really, something you need to copy necessarily. So the groove, right? Now, that track that we just that you just heard is at 129 beats per minute. Use a different loop, slow it down, practice without the loop. Just at first, I'm going to break it down for you here. So just kind of go up to the side, and later, if you want to, if you're playing with somebody else or band practice or with a drum loop or something, you can try different speeds. So now notice there's two kind of main hits in there. The downbeat, of course, that major key change, and then there's that second one's an up stroke, right? So the first thing you want to do, and I mentioned this in some of the other videos on rhythm, is let this hand get loose. Don't monitor it. See if you can just almost shut it out of your mind. Just get it going and put it on autopilot. And don't be afraid that's an up stroke, right? A lot of times, at first you try to you hear where there's a pulse, and you try to kind of stab at it, to make it into a downstroke. Don't ever interrupt this, your strumming hand. Okay, now that's a real open sounding one, right? Not a lot of muting, but there is some pulsing. We've talked about this in a couple of others. This is where it's really at. There's things you can do down here physically, palm muting and stuff. And in that second section, that's key, right? It's both hands are doing the muting. But in this first section, it's really all the pulsing down here. Right, and all that, one of my producer friends used to call it junk. Like, man, that junk that's where it's at. We'd be like, oh, do we need to clean that up? No, man, leave that junk in there. That's what makes it cool. That's right. Look at the whole Seattle thing, right? So this is that style. No better piece of equipment than a Telecaster and a Fender amp or something for this kind of sound, right? So that one's, it's really take notice of and exaggerate that pulsing. The squeeze. Now down here, again, maybe because of my basic laziness, I'm not putting out much effort to mute that bottom string, right? I'm just letting it ring out. The rest of the chord, I'm doing the pulse just like these two. I just like that, it's just kind of an arrangement aspect of it, right? And you get that going with that band practice with with the good amp sound. That's just cool. You just keep it moving, right? But then you might want to switch over, and this is good practice. In a lot of songs, you get to the verse, or you get to a part where it's more of a breakdown, and you gotta get all that jingle jangle tuned down, right? Toned down rather. So something like. Now, this involves muting down here, and you can slow it down. We can. But also down here, I'm still squeezing. But if you notice, if you try to squeeze the whole chord, it's really hard to do. So what I do is I keep that bass note down. Right, there's that grunge sound again. And just let that keep going, and then pulse, with we're just doing power chords here. So it's just those two bottom strings, right? I'm using my pinky. Some of you may be using this finger. That's fine. So I'm pulsing with this. Okay. Now, what's the pulse? What's the groove on that part, on that one? Well, I used to live with a drummer, and this is why I know this. And man, has it been a blessing. When you're in 4, in different time signatures, but right here we're in 4. So we've got a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Okay. So, sorry, I was looking at my screen for a second, make sure this thing was going to keep rolling. It is. So sometimes it works better for different grooves it creates a groove if you divide the 8 up into different groupings. In this case, 3, 3, and 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Slow it down. Don't get aggravated. This is important, and this is really cool. When you get this going and you feel it, it's a game changer. This is such a well used and heard groove in classic rock. Now there they go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. See? Check that out. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's really cool how the arrangement that they used on that. And what we're doing here today, I'm just going. Right, just squeezing with that, leaving this one down, squeezing with that pinky or your ring finger, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Try it out, man. That's a good one. And until somebody, that really understands rhythm said, count it like that, man. You're just kind of 1 and 2 and 3 and. Brilliant, right? It just changes everything about it. So then the routine on this is to just kind of go back and forth between the two, right? Okay. Get together with your buddies and, get the drum kit going or whatever and just try those out, man. Take the simple progression and something that's really repetitive, like that's what groove is. And, songs just arise out of the feelings of that sort of thing, too. That's how a lot of them get created. All right. Let me know how this one goes. Talk to you soon.